feel angry because I know I've taken jobs when I was able to work that were just really below my intelligence level. I was not able to finish college. I wasn't able to do a lot of things. However, somehow I managed to always keep my life together. I've never, starved or anything else. The past couple of years, though, have been really rough with hardly ever leaving the house. Getting my haircut is just absolutely horrible. Takes about 3 days worth of planning in my mind. I give myself like a 3-day window of when I can go and do that. I don't know. I've watched some of your other videos. I've seen some of the short films on agoraphobia, which I think miss the point a lot of times. It's hard because every time I go online looking for information, it always says more women than men, more women than men. And here I am, a male sitting here, and there's more. I think there's a lack of compassion towards men. We're supposed to just suck it up, and it's not easy. And you sit there like when I go to the dentist, for instance, it's awful. No one ever knows. I think that you guys can relate. When you are having a panic attack, a lot of times people don't know. You look fine. We look healthy, even though literally we're dying inside. And it's uncomfortable for me to make this video. I thought about it for a while, and I thought, I don't even care what people think anymore. I think it's about time that we stop not telling people what's going on. I think they need to know. There needs to be way more education about this illness. There needs to be more understanding, and doctors have got to not only learn this, but they've got to be compassionate.
I'll stop it there. So here he is, housebound, making a video, talking himself into it, but having the courage to talk about what this means for him. And he brings up, an number of interesting things. One, talking about the gender difference. Agoraphobia is more common in women than men, and that there's kind of the stereotype, at least in Western culture, that men, ought to suck it up, and you can't be afraid if you're a man. You can't have panic attacks if you're a man. There's, something wrong with you, girly man. Get out of your house. And so I'm sure he's endured a lot of that. He also, expresses a pretty good sense of hopelessness, doesn't he? Where he's, I've tried therapists and nothing works. I don't think they know what they're doing. He really is feeling a little hope. And it's very common that people who have agoraphobia or panic disorder will also have comorbid depression. And so I don't know if that's the case, in this young man's, but he's certainly exhibiting a lot of hopelessness that's consistent with depression, and also, but fits with what's happening in his life, where he has to plan for 3 days just to get his haircut, and that there are times when he's not able to work, and he's really housebound, and he's in his 20s, and this is not what he envisioned his life was going to be. So let's talk about what do we know about some causes of panic disorder. Well, we know that there are some neurobiological factors here, and we've identified particular areas of the brain, although the locus really is, as you'll see up here, but most of that work has been done in animals, and it's harder to actually even find this area of the brain in humans. But a lot of animal research showing that what looks like a panic attack in animals, and you can create an animal model of panic and fear, really in animals, involves this particular area of the brain. What brain imaging studies have been able to be done in humans suggests that this is an area of the brain that looks different in people who have panic attacks than in people who don't. There have been all sorts of other psychophysiological measures that have been done. We talked earlier about the difference between sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system activity. And so the sympathetic nervous system activity, generally speaking, increase in your heart rate, your breathing, respiration gets faster, your palms sweat more. That's a typical reaction when you have fear. And we know that when people have panic attacks, that's exactly what happens. There's an incredible increase in sympathetic nervous system activity. Now you may think, well, that's obvious. You said their heart's beating, counting out of their chest. They probably, it's going up. They can't breathe. They're probably hyperventilate. Well, for some people, I think for years people thought, oh, a panic attack is all in your head. It's not really in your body. You're not really having heart palpitations. You're not really losing your breath. You're just thinking you are. Well, no, actually, people, when they have a panic attack, their heart really is beating fast, and they are breathing really rapidly, so much so that they can lose their breath and feel like they're choking. So these psychophysiological studies demonstrate that the experience people are reporting is not something that they're just making up. It's actually happening in their body. We also know that in laboratory studies where you can actually induce panic attacks, which I know that may sound cruel and unusual. Why would you want to do that? Well, this kind of laboratory study has been done to demonstrate certain conditions under which people may have panic attacks. And so here's a couple of paradoxes for you. So one, sometimes people who have panic attacks have a panic attack when they're asleep. They'll wake up having a panic attack. Or when people are trying to relax. So one of the things that we'll do in treatment for people with panic disorder is teach deep muscle relaxation and breathing exercises. And by teaching people to relax, all of a sudden, bam, they're going to have a panic attack. What is that all about? So we would have known that had we not carefully studied this in a laboratory setting and see what happens when these panic attacks emerge. Now, what happens in that is likely having to do with some of the cognitive factors that are associated with panic disorder. So the concept of relaxation, where you ask people to close your eyes and just relax, focus on your breathing, and we're going to focus on the muscles in your shoulders. So just the very act of doing that, in some people, particularly people prone to panic attacks, can be anxiety-provoking because it can evoke a fear of losing control of my body. All of a sudden, I'm relaxing, I'm having these odd sensations. I've got somebody talking to me in a soothing voice. That feels uncomfortable. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't feel in control of the situation, and that can immediately trigger this kind of reaction. So two of the cognitive factors that have been studied the most in panic disorder are controllability, or perceiving that you have control over the situation. And another thing that happens is this fear of bodily changes and a misinterpretation of what these changes in the body might mean. So if I was running late to get here to class and I'm coming all the way from Pullman Hall and I'm racing up the hill to get all the way up to Stanley, I might be a little winded and out of breath. And if I was somebody that was prone to having panic attacks, rather than attributing that to being out of shape, I might think, oh my God, I'm short of breath, my heart is pounding, here it comes again, I might be having a panic attack. So I might misinterpret those bodily sensations and give an attribution to that as meaning I'm having a panic attack rather than I just ran up a giant hill to get to Stanley. And then another thing that can happen in some cases in panic disorder is catastrophic misinterpretation. So what that means really is, and it's kind of illustrated here, where there's something wrong, I'm having a symptom, I feel a little anxious, and when we feel anxious and we have negative emotion, that's correlated, associated with changes in our body, like an increase in our body temperature, respiration, heart rate, which we then might misinterpret and saying, oh my God, I feel really bad. I didn't think I was having a panic attack, but now I am having a panic attack. Oh my God, this might be the one I'm really losing at this time. And it gets into this really vicious cycle or loop that is hard to break out of, where we have a feeling, maybe it's a shortness of breath, we misinterpret that feeling as being associated with panic, we feel more anxiety. When we feel more anxiety, our heart rate goes up, our respiration quickens, our body changes. We have, oh my God, a thought about what that means, which we then feel more anxious, our body changes even more, and you're in this loop that's hard to break out of. So there's a very intricate relationship between what's happening in our bodies with our emotions and with the thoughts that we're having that gets us into this vicious cycle. And what treatments for panic disorder, at least psychosocial treatments, are intended to do is break that cycle. They're really intended to get in there and bust that up. So treatments for panic disorder, there are medications, most typically antidepressants or anti-anxiety. Those are often called anxiolytic drugs. Anti-anxiety drugs, the benzodiazepines, the broad class of drugs. Xanax, probably a lot of people have heard of Xanax as a common benzodiazepine or anti-anxiety drug. Antidepressants are often given. Why? Well, for two reasons. First, depression is often comorbid with panic disorder and agoraphobia. Two, antidepressants are not as addicting as anti-anxiety drugs are. The anti-anxiety drugs like Xanax, you can develop a physiological dependence on the drug, and what that means is that you can develop tolerance, meaning for the drug to keep working, you may have to keep upping the dose of it. You will also have withdrawal symptoms if you abruptly discontinue taking those, so they have to be titrated, the doses have to be titrated down under the care of a physician to avoid the withdrawal symptoms. So that's another reason why antidepressants are often chosen over these anti-anxiety drugs. Now, anti-anxiety drugs, Xanax, the most common one, are effective. If somebody's having an anxious reaction, it can dampen it. It can bring it down. The difficulty with these, besides their addicting kinds of qualities, is that once you stop taking them, even if it's done appropriately, you titrate off of them, you're likely to relapse. You're likely to begin having panic attacks again. It's difficult for medications to work long term without taking them long term. And so psychosocial treatments, and the book talks about wireless panic control therapy, and there's cognitive behavior therapy for agoraphobia as well. These psychosocial treatments help people by providing them new skills to break that vicious cycle that happens in panic attacks and panic disorder. By teaching relaxation that doesn't provoke panic, by changing the thoughts that people have, working on those catastrophic misinterpretations so that they don't attribute a change in the body as meaning inevitable panic attack or a cycle, and working by exposing people in situations, and particularly true in the case of agoraphobia, gradually, not all at once, gradually exposing someone to situations where they're able to, if someone's housebound, leave the house. So the psychosocial treatments, sometimes though, if anxiety is so extreme and the fear is so intense, are not going to be effective. Why? Somebody with extreme agoraphobia may not even be able to leave the house to come in. So that is a challenge, yes. And so sometimes for people who have extreme anxiety, very severe anxiety and or fear, medication plus psychosocial treatments may be the best course of treatment. Where ideally what might happen is somebody taking medication, bringing down the anxiety so they can come in, participate in cognitive behavior therapy, and then gradually as cognitive behavior therapy takes hold, the medication can then be titrated down. And the psychotherapy continued without the medication. All right, we're going to switch over now to specific phobias. And the kind of diagnosis here is having a fear reaction to a specific object or situation. And there are different kinds. There are 4 different types of specific phobias. And we'll talk in a minute about what distinguishes a phobia from just a reaction. So one fairly common type is a blood injury or injection phobia, the sight of blood, getting a shot, having a root canal, all of these things causing a phobic reaction. And a phobic reaction here, extreme fear reaction and extreme avoidance of the situation. So people who have a blood injury injection phobia would never give blood. There's a mobile van right out in front of the Haas Pavilion now, a Red Cross mobile van for people who want to donate blood. Somebody who has blood injury injection phobia would not be able to do that. Well, that's not so bad, really. There are lots of people who don't give blood. What's the big deal? But if you have to get a tetanus shot, and everyone should every 10 years, that could be a problem. Or if you have to have any kind of surgical procedure, even getting your tonsils out or getting your wisdom teeth out, that can cause a major problem where people are just not able to do it. Or even think about this: how often have you cut yourself? Many people probably cut themselves today, and there's blood. When we cut, we bleed, and so seeing blood sometimes can provoke an extreme fear reaction. So it's very difficult to avoid some of these things in life, and so therefore people who have a blood injury injection specific phobia will go to great lengths to try to avoid it, but inevitably it's unavoidable. The injury and the blood part in particular. Another kind, of specific phobia is situations. So here, a common one is fear of flying, fear of airplanes. Elevators is another one that's fairly common. Third type, animals. So lots of people may have a specific phobia associated with snakes or even dogs, spiders. Now, what distinguishes a phobia? Like, how many people here are not really big fans of snakes? Like, right, but I bet the people that are raising your hand don't necessarily have a snake phobia. How many people are not big fans of spiders? Even more people, right? Not a big fan of a spider. Tarantula. How many people here could, if I brought a tarantula, would feel comfortable picking it up? So not as many people have raised their hands that I'm not a big fan of spiders. So, but does that mean that if you're not a big fan of a phobia? No. What distinguishes a specific phobia is the intensity of the reaction and the avoidance, the lengths at which people will go to avoid being around snakes and spiders. You may be thinking, well, how hard is that? I live in a city and it's not going to, spiders are a little more difficult, but snakes, I just won't see any snakes. I live in an urban area. But you can't really avoid spiders, but people will go to great lengths to try to avoid spiders. Not only that, some people who have an animal phobia or a situation phobia, not even exposure to an actual snake, but actually seeing something on the Discovery Channel about snakes, instead of Shark Week, if you watch Snake Week, and see, that could cause an intense reaction. Or flipping through a magazine and seeing pictures of a spider. Or Halloween, where there are lots of spiders around. It's part of everyone's decoration theme, might actually provoke, and these aren't even real spiders, but it could still provoke a very strong reaction. So the intensity, the kinds of things in the family of animals that can cause this reaction, as well as the lengths to which people will go to avoid situations involving those, is what distinguishes a specific phobia in a particular category from just not being a big fan of things. And then the last kind of a type of a specific phobia is natural environment. Here, the most common is the fear of heights. I don't know if you can tell in the picture is the guy with his feet hanging over the ledge. Many people are not big fans of heights. Right? Most people would potentially feel uncomfortable with their feet dangling over a 100-foot cliff. But again, it's the intensity of the reaction and the extent to which people will go to avoid that. So some people might choose, for example, not to take a job if it required working in an office building that was above ground level. Well, that's kind of limiting, isn't it? Debilitating. If you wouldn't even want to be on the second floor. If that, looking out the window of the second floor in an office building would cause a reaction, that's the kind of reaction that people might have in that situation. Now, another kind of a anxiety disorder, which used to be called social phobia, now in DSM-5 it's called social anxiety disorder, or just a slight name. Here, it's having kind of a very intensive fear reaction when around other people, and a lot of anxiety about what will happen if you have to go and be around other people. Now, the most common manifestation that we think of in social anxiety is what I'm doing, getting up and speaking in front of other people. Mortifying for someone with social anxiety. The idea that they could stand up and actually say something in front of a group of people is inconceivable. But what people don't often think of that still fits the idea of social anxiety is that for some people, the idea of eating around other people provokes a tremendous amount of anxiety. People will be looking at me. What if I spill something? I'm going to look really weird. I don't want anybody watching what I'm eating. And that all of a sudden, huge amount of anxiety over what that'll be like if you go to a dining area or even a restaurant. And so many people will choose to eat alone. And even being in a social situation that's a party, something that's supposed to be fun. Going and checking out different fraternities or sororities, that should be fun. It's way to meet. Oh no, for somebody who has social anxiety, that provokes a tremendous amount of anxiety. And in the situation, all sorts of fear reactions are happening. As what are they thinking of me? I must look like a moron. Maybe I'm coming across really stupid. I have a silly smirk on my face. I'm trying to smile. So all these thoughts are going in somebody's head in a social situation, and their body is changing to have reactions that look a lot like fear. And sometimes that comes across when people are interacting with somebody with social anxiety. They see the anxiety on the person's face. And so somebody with social anxiety is saying, I must look like a moron. I can't believe I feel so uncomfortable, and I'm looking uncomfortable. And somebody's looking at me and saying, are you okay? You look really uncomfortable. Or they kind of gently, politely excuse themselves and go talk to somebody else. And then you have social anxiety. You're like, see, I look like a moron. I can't even carry on a conversation. So there's lots of things that are happening, all internal dialogue, thoughts that are happening in social anxiety in the context of other people. And what people then will do is go to great lengths to avoid being around other people, which is a problem for sure in a college situation where people are, you're around all the time. And so people will go to great lengths, though, to minimize, avoid having to be around other people. All right, it's 2 o'clock. We're going to stop here. We'll pick up on Thursday to talk about causes of phobias and social anxiety and move into generalized anxiety.